Okay, I'm making some, I'm gonna do some cabbage, some fried cabbage. And I've got the bacon grease a little bit hot, so just chill out a minute. Bacon grease. I'll put some onions in it. Fried cabbage you can make like really simple. You can just do bacon grease, cabbage, and like some Hillshire Farm sausage or something in it. Or you can just have cabbage in it. Just have fried cabbage. It is a Southern favorite. So I'm going to cut up my cabbage. And rinse it off, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get some of this cabbage in. I have been just kind of sauteing those onions a little bit, even letting them caramelize just a little bit. Now I'm going to start adding in the cabbage. And it's just, I just rough chop it because it does get, very manageable, and it's not, it's not tough. It's tender when you eat it. And this is such a fantastic dish. And it's so easy. We love it down south. So I'm just going to work this cabbage in. It's going to release a little bit of its own juices. I'm going to put in a little bit of salt, and that salt's going to help it reduce as well and release those juices. A little bit of water just to help it along there. Then I'm going to take a beef smoked Hillshire sausage. Beef smoked sausage. Now you can put beef wieners. You can put, it doesn't even have to be beef, but beef gives it a really good flavor. And I'm just going to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. And this is more than enough for Dave and I for dinner. And we may have like a couple of meals off of it. But I'm just going to tell you real quick about my friend Billy. He passed away. He was 51 years old. Passed away from stage 4 colon cancer. After a long battle with it. And I'm kind of just doing this video kind of in remembrance of him. He was such a funny guy. Lived life to the fullest. Reminded me a lot of my brother. And my mother just absolutely loved him. We met him when he was doing some work for us on our yard for me. He was doing the trees, and I'm going to put this sausage in here and just let it cook for a minute. And we just had an instant friendship. Really, he lived life on two wheels on a curve like my brother did. But he was such a good guy. He helped me so much in my yard. He lived life to the fullest. I was always cooking something when he would drop by, it seemed like, because for Mom, I'm putting a little salt and pepper in here. Mom was a diabetic, and so I cooked all her meals for her, of course, when she and Daddy were living with me. And she just went crazy about Treeman, Billy. And he would come by and visit her, and occasionally I'd get a ride in one of those fancy cars he owned. And he never drove like a crazy person with me in there. He was always real safe and just a great guy. I could call him anytime I had a problem over at my house or in my yard, and he would be happy to help me or find the right help for me. And from what I've seen about things that people have posted online about him, you know, he was that way with everybody. But he, he was so much like my brother. I even sent a picture of my brother to a friend of mine, and she looked at it. She said, well, they do look alike. My brother, of course, was older. We lost him when he was 49, almost 50. And so Billy brought my mother a lot of comfort. She really loved him because he brought comfort to her, because she missed my brother and he was so much like him. Not that he replaced my brother, but just like my mom called my boy. That's what my mom called him, my boy. So when I heard Billy had passed, I hadn't talked to him in probably a year and a half. And I had texted him when I found out he was sick. And he said, I went back and read the text today, and he said that he was doing really good, that they had already told him he should have been dead. And he said, but, you know, I'm doing really good. He said, and I've worked it out with the Lord, and I know that, you know, whatever the Lord has for me is exactly what I need, is going to be just fine. He said, you know, pray for my family. He told me that anytime I talked to him, but, you know, I just read through the last text, and that's what it said. So pray for his family. You know, he's had a little girl that's she's probably about 2 or 3, going on 3. And he had lots of boys. That was his only little girl. But, you know, if you know Billy, you know, just a friend of Billy's, a good friend of his, recommended. She said, you know, because they're not going to have a funeral, they're going to have a celebration of life for him. She said, it might be a good idea to just cook and tell a little bit about Billy. And so I am. I'm just kind of celebrating Billy and Mom's relationship and how good he was to me. And when he died, I just immediately, I thought, wow, I know Mom will be right there to give him a big hug, because she just thought the world of him. And I know he'll be so happy to see his mother. But anyway, not to bring everybody down, but that was, you know, he was pretty special. As far as helping me in my yard and just when I had questions or anything. And from all the comments I've read, he was so good to everybody else. He was a real hard worker. And boy, he couldn't stand it when people didn't come to work on time. But if he walked in the door and I was cooking this, he would have a bite of it, because I was always cooking something. And I'm probably rambling, but, you know, he'd always come in, have a bite, and because he'd just stop by and see Mom. But, you know, live your life as best as you can into the glory of God. And I tell you, when I read that text again today, and I remember reading it when he sent it to me, but it just made me so happy that he had accepted the Lord as his Savior, and he leaned on him. And he died with so much dignity, you know. He never complained about it, not to me anyway. But like I said, I hadn't talked to him in probably a year and a half. But I just wanted to say a little something about him. But try the cabbage and beef sausage. It's really good. I'm just going to let it keep cooking here. Got a little onion in it, a little salt. I'm going to put a little more salt probably, some pepper. And if you want to kick it up a little bit more, you can put a few, and I think I'm going to, just in memory of Billy, I put a little bit of hot crushed red pepper in here. Because he had a little side to him. You always knew what he was thinking. You didn't have to ask him. But I think that's what I really liked about him. But there you go. Let that crushed red pepper cook up in there and give it just a little touch of heat, because I didn't put very much in there. And don't fill it full of water. Let the water come out of the cabbage and let it take care of itself. You saw I put about this is a quart. I put about half a cup of water in there. That's all I put in there. And I put a big spoon of bacon grease in it. And I'm just gonna stir it and let it cook down until it gets the leaves get to the tenderness that I want them. Some people eat them really wilted. Some people would eat them like this. I'm gonna probably go center of that. I don't want them really wilted, but I want them a little tender, more tender than this. So I hope that's a dish you'll try. It's a Southern favorite, and it really fills you up, and it's really good for you. There's nothing in it that's really bad for you. So try it. I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of honor Billy by saying a little bit about him, just to celebrate his life, because he did a lot to help me here at the house and in my yard, and I know so many others. Trees go down, he'd be right there. I mean, he was a hard worker, but you know, and he loved his family, loved his boys, he loved that little girl he had. Oh, he loved them. So you guys just live your life, you know, enjoy it. Hug the people you love. Hug the people you love. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Try the cabbage. Take care.